It's frozen. We're likely seeing some power outages over in West Memphis right now. That's the only reason the camera would freeze as this storm rolls on through. Let's go back to the radar full, and what I'm going to do is do another storm track on this. I'm just going to do it through the city of Memphis to kind of show you which neighborhoods this storm is going to be in next. So as we move this off to the north and east, it's moving pretty quickly at about 55 miles an hour. Germantown in the next minute. That's what you're going to get. The camera view that we were seeing at 55 in Shelby Drive, that's what you're going to be seeing in Germantown. Collierville by 7:54, so it's coming up north toward you too. Cordova at 7:59, Bartlett at 8 a.m., Woodstock, that's going to be out near Shelby Forest at about 8:02, Lakeland at 8:05, Millington at 8:09, and then eventually up toward Arlington and Tipton Rosemark by about 8:12, 8:13, 8:14. So again, the storm is not going to last long. You might have 20 to 30 minutes of really heavy rain and damaging wind gusts, maybe a little tiny hail. I would rather you wait, let this pass you by, be a little bit late to work. I'd rather you get there safely and be a little late with a storm like this, because keep in mind, we're also in the middle of the morning commute. This could not have happened at a worse time for a storm like this to roll through. Not only is it really hard to see, it's also probably the busiest that the roadway ever is in our part of town. It's usually about this time that the roads get kind of rough. So here's a wider view of what's happening. Again, storms continuing back to the west. When Crittenden County, West Memphis, those storms are not severe. We have the severe thunderstorm warning for Memphis and Shelby County, also for parts of DeSoto County and far southeastern Crittenden County. That's where the storm is the strongest. We've had wind gusts in there, 50, 60 miles an hour, along with that heavy rain. As a matter of fact, what I can do is kind of sample these wind speeds. So what we're looking at now, I know I kind of change the radar on you. We're looking at the wind speed inside the storm. The brighter the color, the stronger the winds are. Now, with that having been said, I want to kind of poke around in here. Strongest wind I'm seeing right now looks to be just west of West Memphis. Gust as high as 65 miles an hour. That's going to be coming into Marion within a matter of minutes. So maybe if we could get, I know I'm throwing you around a little bit, but the RDOT camera near Marion, Arkansas on 55. That would probably be a great one to look at right now. Also down near Westwood, 3rd Street, 61. I'm seeing some pretty high winds. That is at 54. Miles an hour there, right around Westwood. Also near the bridges, downtown Memphis, kind of right between the bridges in downtown, about 57 miles an hour worth of a gust. So these winds easily could take out power. I know we're not dealing with a tornado situation, but man, these winds are something here. Let's get over to that RDOT camera if we could. This is going to be I-55. What was that mile marker? Can you tell me one more time? Do you remember? 270. So this is out near the Marion exit. And again, you see the camera kind of teetering back and forth. It's dark as night. My goodness, out there at 55 and Marion. And you see how that camera's kind of shaking a little bit. We've had a few folks driving with their hazard lights on. Again, I want to remind you, if you think it's raining so hard that you have to have your hazards on, like this trucker right here, you should not be on the road. Again, this storm is going to be moving pretty quickly. It's moving at about 55 miles an hour. So if you give it 20 or 30 minutes, the storm will pass you up. But if you're driving and you can't see so much that you feel like you have to have your blinkers on, you probably just shouldn't be driving. We just saw that moments ago at 55 in Shelby in South Memphis and down near the airport area. We had the rain that was coming down so heavy, it was literally, you could not see 2 cars in front of you, and we had traffic really slowing down there for a bit. So that's Marion right now, the RDOT camera there. I want to go back to the radar and show you, because the storm now coming through the center of the city of Memphis. Really coming down now at 240 in Lamar. Maybe we could get that one pulled up, 240 in Lamar on the TDOT cameras. Maybe some small hail down near the airport right now. That's going to be about Democrat Road just to the north of the airport. Airways up toward the fairgrounds area. Burclair, you're going to be up next. White Station off near Poplar. That's kind of where this storm is going as it moves off to the north. It's going to bring the wind and the heavy rain, maybe some small hail, into pretty much every part of the city as it moves off to the north. Again, radar indicating a moment ago we probably did have some small hail falling at the airport. Might be melting pretty quickly. It is warm outside, but as it's falling, it is going to be melting pretty quickly. New report out of West Memphis. I don't know if we want to maybe send anybody over there, but Crittenden County deputies reporting power lines are down 5 miles west of West Memphis on Highway 70. That's at 12346 Highway 70. We have power lines down in West Memphis. That would easily explain why my camera went down in West Memphis. We probably have some power outages there. So severe thunderstorm warning is going to continue here. This is going to continue through at least 8:15 a.m. Might be extended just a little bit. This includes Crittenden and Shelby counties. At 7:58, a severe thunderstorm moving through Memphis, moving northeast incredibly quickly at about 70 miles an hour. 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts and quarter-sized hail within this storm. And again, that's why we're with you this morning. We don't have a tornado warning situation, so I don't want you to get too alarmed. But the hail and the wind is serious enough. That's why we're with you on television, and we're deciding to take over Good Morning America, at least for the next little bit, to let this storm go through, because our local weather, at least for right now, is just a little bit more important. Again, National Weather Service tracking hail up to quarter size, and we are also seeing winds as high as 60 miles an hour. Wind right now, to me, might be a slightly bigger concern. And to me, the strongest wind is over in West Memphis, Marion. We're looking at down right near the bridges, coming across the bridge on I-40. We're probably seeing some wind. Where you see those brighter blues, those are stronger wind gusts that could be as high as 60 miles an hour, making it to the ground. So you probably do not want to be driving right now on any of the area interstates. And it's the same story here in Memphis. We have a live view now at 240 and Lamar, where the storm is just now getting to, and really the meat of the storm is right in the middle of it. And that camera is showing very heavy rain. It's showing a ton of lightning. Traffic is moving on that camera. You can see it there, moving off east and westbound on 240. But that rain really is coming down, and it might not look as bad from the camera angle, but once you get down on the ground a little bit, it can be really, really tough to see with that rain and wind coming down at the same time. Let's go back to radar, and I just want to kind of reset as we come up on the 8 o'clock hour. Normally, you would be starting the 8 o'clock hour of Good Morning America, but we're going to be with you for the next little bit. I'm meteorologist Trevor Burchett with ABC 24. The reason we are covering up Good Morning America is because we have severe thunderstorms rolling through the Mid-South. You're watching WATN. We do also have this streaming on our website at abc24.com/watch. If you happen to lose power, you can get over to our website. And again, that's just abc24.com/watch. We also have our ABC 24 app. It is a completely free download. If you just search ABC 24 in your app store or in Google Play, we need to get rid of that. Yeah, no tornado warning right now, just a severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect. This is a severe thunderstorm warning for the Memphis Metro. And again, you can download that ABC 24 app. It's a completely free download for iPhone and Android. Just text the word app, APP, to 901-321-7520. You can also just search ABC 24 in your app store and Google Play. We have the live stream there if you do lose power. Let's go live outside. This is 240 in Poplar. We've got something happening here. Might just be the rain and the wind, but traffic has come to pretty much a complete stop at 240 and Poplar. And you see just how bad that traffic is. This is going to be westbound and eastbound, technically northbound and southbound. So what you're seeing right here, this is traffic coming from the flyover. This is traffic headed toward the flyover. And it's raining so bad there that traffic has pretty much just come to a complete stop. I'm not sure if we've had an accident here. TDOT zooming in that camera just a little bit to try to figure out what's going on as well. But you can see that traffic is just not able to move. In wind and rain like this, it's just impossible to get through the wind and rain. You can't hardly see two cars in front of you. So what's happened is everybody now is just pretty much slamming on their brakes. So that's why I told you 30 minutes ago, I would wait and not get on the roads just yet. If you wait 20 more minutes in Memphis, things will be looking a lot better. Again, if you're in Memphis, 20 more minutes, let this storm get by. You can get out on the roadways. But for right now, man, that's what we're seeing all around town, is that rain and wind is just coming down so hard. Can't hardly see two cars in front of you. Again, this is at 240 and Poplar. This is traffic headed toward the flyover. So really, you just want to forget about that this morning. I wonder if we could actually get the traffic map up. Let's do that. Let's take traffic and put that behind me, just kind of show you what's going on. And you're going to see a lot of red. You're going to see a lot of yellow. You're going to see a lot of orange. That's where we're gridlocked, very slow. So traffic jam-packed all across the metro. Really bad right now on the south leg of 240 coming up toward Poplar, and also coming up on 385. That 385 interchange from about Riverdale to 240 is bad. Bad right now coming into the flyover. Also pretty bad at I-40 and Highway 51. All right, if we could head back to the radar, what we're watching now, again, this severe thunderstorm warning set to expire. Again, that's max 2 if we could do that. Thank you so much, folks back in the back. We're hearing the thunder now at our television station. We're at I-40 and Sycamore View, and it is really just coming right up on us. So what they are doing now, they're also watching some other storms out in eastern Arkansas. Those are strong too, with winds as high as 40 miles an hour and half-inch sized hail. In Memphis, it seems like those winds are a little bit stronger with the batch of storms that's coming through Memphis, but it's this other cluster up here north of Earl and Parkin in Cross County that's also packing quite a punch. We're hearing a ton of thunder right now. I wonder if we can get back our lightning map. I could just show you. I mean, my goodness, this is in the last 30 minutes. And every new little dot you see light up, like right there and right there, those are strikes that are happening at this moment. So we're watching these lightning strikes happen all over town, and you're probably hearing it. I promise you, if you're at home, I know you're hearing that lightning right now. I just want to count this up here. In the city of Memphis, we've had almost 500 strikes in the last 30 minutes. So lightning is just miraculous right now. And again, that's going to lead to power outages and could lead to some more trouble. Winds knocking around power lines and tree branches. So just not a good situation, not the way we wanted to start off our Tuesday morning commute. I do want to reset and just kind of, I don't want to forget everybody. I know we have storms in Memphis, but I just want to kind of zoom out and talk about everybody for just a little bit, because we normally do our updates on Good Morning America, and I don't want to forget about folks. North Mississippi, pretty quiet right now. We got a little cell down near Clarksdale. We'll zoom into that and just kind of show you kind of a wimpy cell compared to what's going on up in Memphis. And you'll bear with us. We're still on TV. We have lost power here at the TV station. Our generator will kick on. Give us just a second. We're still on TV. We have some backup contingencies here. If we could just take max 2 full for just a little bit. It might be hard to see back there in the booth with no lights. There we go. Again, bear with us for just a little bit. Now if we could take me back on here. Again, what just happened is we had a power flash here at the TV station, and it took our lights off, so you couldn't see us here in the studio. But we are back. We have survived. That might happen a few more times. So if you see us go to black for just a little bit, that's what's happening. What I was saying was we have a little storm cell out near Clarksdale. That's producing some heavy rain and gusty wind. But otherwise, not much happening in North Mississippi right now. It's pretty quiet. This will pick up later on in the afternoon, though. We'll see more thunderstorms develop later on this morning in North Mississippi. Eastern Arkansas, western Tennessee, we're seeing the heavy rain and thunderstorms right now. We've got some storms up near Mark Tree, just north of Wynn, moving off to the north and east. But the heaviest storm, and what we're going to focus on for a little bit, is the storm that's coming through Memphis. And this is the reason we're with you, because we have this beefy storm rolling through Shelby County, even back into Fayette County a little bit. That's why we have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect. Again, the warning right now is a severe thunderstorm warning for wind and for hail. We do not have any tornado concern right now. I know it might freak you out a little bit when you see us on TV. I used to be the same way when I was growing up. It would always scare me when the weatherman came on TV when he wasn't supposed to be on. But this is for the wind and for the hail. We have no tornado concerns right now. Not to diminish what's going on, because wind and hail is still pretty serious. It just took our power out at the TV station. We're on generator power right now. That's why you saw us black out for just a little bit. But this is really packing a punch now as it moves off to the north and east. I want to put another storm track on it. I will say, DeSoto County, it's clearing up for you. If you have somewhere to be in DeSoto County, probably get to it. You probably hit the roads. It's still raining a little bit, but the worst is past. The worst is now past the airport. The worst is past Whitehaven. The worst is past Westwood. The worst is past Hickory Hill. But that storm is still moving to the north and east. Now it's up near Shelby Forest. It's up near Woodstock. It's coming into Fraser and Raleigh. It's in Cordova. It's out near Eads, and it's coming through the Fayette County area as well, moving to the north and east. So one area we've really been watching is kind of inside that 240 loop. You see, there's the 240 loop down there. So now the heaviest of it is in Fraser, it's in Raleigh and Bartlett, but we're still having rain and wind in Memphis. I want to take you out now to 240 and Walnut Grove, and we're having some issues there with traffic, obviously, as you can imagine. Again, I told you about 40 minutes ago, stay off the roads if you could, but you could see just how bad that traffic is, northbound and southbound on 240. And that's pretty much the case all across town. It's happening everywhere, wherever you're going, northbound or southbound, eastbound or westbound, wherever it is in the city of Memphis. It is still coming down, and it's still coming down at a pretty good clip. Let's go back to the radar, and what I'm going to do is check the wind speeds. And I showed you this a little bit ago. What I told you was the brighter these colors, the stronger your winds were going to be. And I'm seeing that little area just north of Fraser. That's about Shelby Forest. We're talking like the Fight Road area. And the winds seem to be pretty rough up there. We're seeing wind gusts in the order of 50, 60 miles an hour just to the west of Highway 51. I'm also seeing some pretty serious wind near Covington Pike and Elmore, winds as high as 60 miles an hour there, and that's coming into Bartlett. So power outages clearly going to be an issue with us here for the next little bit, as is the heavy rain. Now, originally, the Weather Service was a little concerned about hail. I've not seen any actual reports of hail come through. Most of this has been the wind and most of it's been the rain, but I wouldn't have been surprised if we saw a little bit of small hail somewhere in the metro. I want to turn on our hail tracks. What this is going to load is kind of show us where hail might have fallen over the last 2 hours. And all that purple area down there, that is some area where we might have seen some hail. Now keep in mind, it's almost 75 degrees this morning. So even though that hail is frozen way up in the clouds, once it falls, it's going to melt pretty quickly. So you might have had a couple of stones fall. You might just not have noticed it. But hail, definitely possible here with this storm, but I do believe that the wind is going to be the biggest concern. Reports now of power going in and out in the Binghamton area. I fully believe that. Would not be surprised at all. As a matter of fact, I'm going to walk off the screen for just a second here. If we want to take this flyover camera full, what you're looking at again is going to be the flyover, I-240 at I-40, and that is where we're seeing wind, that's where we're seeing rain, and some big concerns there with just how heavy that rain is coming down. I was going to try to pull up our power outage map, but our computer to do that has locked up on me again, probably due to that power outage that we saw earlier. So if we could, it looks like Yvonne Cooper actually working on that this morning. So far, about 80 folks without power. That's probably going to go up. We'll watch that for you. We'll keep you updated. But again, I do want to remind you, if we can go back to Max 2, you can download our ABC 24 app. It is a free download for iPhone and Android. Just search the word ABC 24 in your App Store and Google Play. And you can actually watch everything on the app this morning. That's actually working fine. If we just want to roll with it, it's been good since you fixed it. I appreciate it. So yeah, no issues with that. We had some tech issues this morning, but our team has been on it. I appreciate their hard work this morning. Obviously juggling with the power outages too. It's been something this morning with all the stuff that is going on. But again, power outage is a concern. If you want to download that free ABC 24 app, iPhone and Android, it's a totally free download. Just search that on your app store. We have the live stream there. And we just got some word in. They're going to be watching downstream of Shelby County. They're going to be issuing this severe thunderstorm warning a little bit farther. So we're likely going to be with you for a little bit longer. I know we said 8:15, but folks in the back, just prepare. We'll probably end up staying on closer till 8:45 to let this storm clear out of Shelby County. I don't want to forget about anybody just as the worst of this storm is kind of moving on through. But again, there you see, this is 240 at the 40 flyover, and it's just jam-packed. And this is really as the worst of it is starting to get by just a little bit. The worst of this storm is passing on by. It's easing up a little bit, but traffic's still going to be a concern for the next little bit. Maybe just for a second, we can pop up that traffic map on Max 3 again and just give you an idea. The bottom line is the commute is a mess this morning, especially on the north side of 40, east side of 240, 385 coming in, and the flyover. Pretty much anywhere you're going this morning, it's going to be a slow commute. So just prepare for that. I know the worst of the storm is passing Memphis now, but we're still going to have some issues with that commute for the next little bit. All right, back to Max 2 this morning as we kind of prepare for this severe thunderstorm warning to be extended. I want to keep repeating myself, and if you've been watching for a little bit, you might be rolling your eyes at how many times I've said this, but we constantly have people clicking in and off. Not everybody's watching TV 24/7. So if you are just joining us, the reason we're on is a severe thunderstorm warning for Memphis and Shelby County for wind and for some small hail. This is not a tornado concern right now. No concern with a tornado Right now, we're concerned about the wind and the hail. There's that new severe thunderstorm warning. You just saw it pop up. I told you a bit ago they would be extending that. So this is a new severe thunderstorm warning. That's that new polygon. It includes Covington, Atoka, pretty much all of Tipton County. It's going to go for Arlington, Millington, Lakeland, Oakland, Somerville, and up into nearly Brownsville, honestly, in the southern portion of Haywood County. Let's read that new bulletin from the National Weather Service. This is a severe thunderstorm warning for Tipton County. It's also going to be for western Fayette County, southern Lauderdale, southwestern Haywood, and northeastern Shelby. And this warning is going to go until 9 a.m. So unless they cancel this early, we're going to stay with you until at least 9 a.m. And let this storm clear on through. What they're looking at now is the wind gusts of 60 miles an hour and also penny-sized hail. So that hail size is coming down a little bit. In DeSoto County, we had reports, our estimates from the radar, hail could be as large as $half size. That's looking a little better now. Penny-sized hail still can do some damage. It's going to put some dings in your car. But the wind right now seems to be the worst concern. And that's with that new severe thunderstorm warning that includes Bartlett, Millington, Covington, Shelby Forest, Fort Pillow, Memphis, Lakeland, Arlington, Munford, Somerville, Brighton, Ellendale, Fulton, Eads, Danceyville, Tipton, Warren, Macon, and Atoka. Just to kind of get everybody in there just so you know who's in and who's out. But that storm moving off to the north and east, still packing a punch with winds really the biggest concern, as high as about 60 miles an hour. Let's put another storm track on this as this new warning is in effect. Again, it's just this main line of thunderstorms. It's moving pretty quickly. It's moving, actually, I'm going to speed it up just a little bit. It was moving at about 55. Seems like it might be doing about 65 now. So you've got the winds in the storm, but then you've also got the storm moving at about 60 miles an hour. So that is really going to bring down some high winds. So again, what I'm tracking out here now is wind moving off to the north and east. Arlington at 814, Drummond's at 818, Atoka at 821, Bolivar at 826, Covington at 831, Brownsville at 839, and Ripley, Tennessee by 844. Again, that's not a tornado warning. We do not have a tornado warning right now. We're on with you because of the wind as high as 60 miles an hour in this storm that's moving off to the north and east. So just be aware if you're in these areas, maybe you've been gardening a little bit this morning, go ahead and come on inside. Lightning is crazy with this storm. I don't want you outside as this storm rolls on by. Now, what we can do, what's kind of happening that's interesting now, our radar site that we use from the National Weather Service is actually at Millington. It's at the Naval Air Station. If you've ever driven up there, there's that giant white ball. That's our radar site. And that storm is crossing over the radar right now. Unfortunately, we've had some instances where lightning strikes that ball and we lose radar. So prayerfully, that will not happen. But what is happening now is we're so close to the radar, we can get a really good view of just how high these winds are, since the winds are pretty much directly next to the radar. So as we kind of poke around in here, we're seeing winds as high as 50, maybe 40, 50 miles an hour, pretty much right next to that radar site. Now, what we could also do, there's an actual weather sensor. This is estimated from the radar. There's an actual weather sensor at the Millington Airport that would also give us a reading of wind. National Weather Service says no report from that. So I'm thinking we might have some power issues or some wind issues with that weather sensor up in Millington. But easily winds as high as 40 or 50 miles an hour coming through Millington right now, right over the Naval Air Station, coming up Austin P up toward Rosemark in the next little bit. Arlington, you're getting it right now. Let's see if we could get up maybe I-40. I'm going to send you way out east a little bit, Dorje, on TDOT. I-40 and Canada Road. Let's try I-40 and Canada Road. Maybe a little bit further upstream from that, maybe even I-40 at I-269. Either one of those would be helpful. Outages, they continue to climb this morning. New report from MLGW, about 2,800 customers without power. Big outages in Bartlett, Cordova, and in North Memphis. Some other spots experiencing outages this morning. The Northgate Shopping Center up in Fraser, got a report there. Germantown Parkway and Macon Road without power, and Germantown Parkway at Walnut Grove also without power this morning. So very, very strong storms with the winds that we're seeing roll through. They could be as high as 50 miles an hour, which we're already seeing is causing some issue with that rain this morning. What we're going to do really quick, I'm going to toss things over to Ruben Diaz. He's going to take a look at some of the roadways this morning, the traffic map, how bad things are going right now, and check out some of those cameras. Ruben, the bottom line is it's a mess this morning.
Yeah, so Trevor, you were talking about this morning when we first started the shows, and it has absolutely come to fruition. Let's take a look right now at some of the roads outside as you're maybe heading out the door, getting ready to take your kids to school. Maybe you're going to work. This is I-240 Keys right here. You can see it is almost standstill traffic on one side of the road, and it is a lot of people going very slow because the rain is so heavy right now. The visibility is so bad. Trevor pointed out the visibility earlier where it was almost zero visibility at one point in time with flashers on as well. Again, about 2,800 people without power right now in the area. We're going to continue to monitor that situation for you as well. But as you look at the roads, maybe you're thinking about getting outside today. Maybe you have somewhere you need to be. Now is probably not the best time to get on the roads. It is going to be packed and is going to be very slow moving as this storm continues to go through the metro area. So as we continue to look around the area and give you an idea, Trevor, I know you've been watching other portions of the storm, and that thunderstorm warning has now been extended, so you got even more for the people, right?
That's right, Ruben, and thank you for that. It's going to be about 9 o'clock for this severe thunderstorm warning to continue. They've extended it now to include Millington, Lakeland, Arlington, and now up into Tipton County, Fayette County, and Hardeman County. All right, Canada Road is not working. Again, maybe some power issues. If you could go up, just scroll up a little bit the other way, Dorje, kind of up to the north and east. Keep going a little piece, and maybe one of those cameras, they're probably a little bit better, actually. One of those might work. So this is I-40. Maybe this one will load for us. We're having some issues with the cameras. Obviously, power is a concern out there on I-40. Those TDOT cameras, they need power to run. So if we get power outages, they just don't work. So we're trying to find some cameras. Our producer Dorje doing a great job back there. As soon as we get a view of what's going on out there, we'll let you know. But again, the heaviest rain and wind on that north side of 385, that's the Paul Barrett Parkway from Millington down to about Arlington. And then the winds really even continue into Oakland along 64. Lambert up I-40 out toward where Blue Oval City is going to be. You're going to be next in line to see some of this wind and some of the rain as well. I want to zoom out once again for folks that maybe are not in the city of Memphis. I don't want to forget about anybody. But really, the only storm we're watching right now is the one that is rolling through the Memphis metro. North Mississippi is pretty quiet right now. We've got a little bit of rain down near Marks, Mississippi. Nothing stormy like what's going on up here, but North Mississippi quiet for now. We'll see more storms develop through the day. Eastern Arkansas mainly just seeing some light rain. And really, the worst of the weather is going to miss Eastern Arkansas. We're going to have some more storms develop later on today in Western Tennessee and Northern Mississippi. Eastern Arkansas, I'm not very concerned about you. I know we still have some heavy rain in West Memphis, but once this clears out, the rest of your day is going to be pretty nice. We might even have some sunshine pop out in Eastern Arkansas here soon. Western Tennessee is what we're really watching right now with the heaviest rain and the wind gusts that are rolling through town and continuing northward toward Covington and out toward Brownsville. All right, looks like we have some tree damage. I'm not sure. Do we know where Randy is? All right, so we're working on that, but we have a live picture. If we just want to go ahead and take it, again, we're working to figure out exactly where our photographer is. But some trees down. If I had to guess, this looks like maybe out toward Raleigh, maybe right between Raleigh and Fraser, right there. What is that road I'm thinking about? Let's see if I can cheat a little bit and zoom in here. What I'm thinking is this looks to me like it's going to be like Stage, almost at Austin P. I'm completely guessing, but once we figure out, we'll let you know. But that's what it looks like to me right where you pass those apartments coming through Raleigh, headed out toward Fraser. That could be where we're looking at this morning. But you see we have a pretty sizable tree, at least part of a tree down in the roadway. So just a reminder, obviously steer clear of that. I'm not sure if I would have gotten as close as that individual did that was turning out of their apartment complex. But Raleigh definitely saw some pretty heavy rain and some damaging wind gusts not too long ago. The worst of it now past you. Now, we're still seeing rain in Memphis. It's the wind that's kind of died down a little bit. It's still coming down at a pretty good clip in Memphis, but the area where the wind is now up near Millington, really up near Rosemark on Highway 14. That batch right there. So there's 385. Paul Barrett Parkway is right down there. Highway 14 and Austin P is coming up there. And then we get into southern Tipton County. It's that area not far from Millington where we have the probably the best signature of some pretty high wind. Yale Road at the Coves Apartments. See, I've lived here for long enough. I know my areas a little bit. So that was in the Raleigh area, Yale Road. That's what I was thinking of right there. But back to the radar. I know we have this tree down. We'll get back to that. I'm seeing some pretty concerning signature of higher wind near Bolton. And just to show you again what you're looking at here, the stronger the color, the brighter the color, the stronger the wind, I should say. And again, that's the Paul Barrett Parkway right there at the community of Bolton and Brunswick Road. Gust as high as 60 there. And then coming into Rosemark, just to the east, man, this is getting stronger. Look at this, up to 70 miles an hour now with that latest update. And again, that's just to the east of Bolton. Let's zoom in a little bit. I'll get you some roads here. But to me, this looks like where the worst of the wind is right now. So again, we're not too far from Rosemark. There's Kerrville, Rosemark Road. Collierville, Arlington Road is right here. And then you've got Millington, Arlington Road. Wow, let's look at that for a second. This is a live picture at I-40 and Canada Road. The camera's working, but you can't see anything. No, it's not a snowstorm. It's just the rain and the wind is so heavy right now at I-40 and Canada Road, you can't hardly see anything. So that's what you're going to be dealing with on the roadways this morning, just how heavy that rain is coming down, how heavy the wind is with gusts up to about 60 miles an hour. That's what you're going to be dealing with this morning. And it's going to be a rough morning commute to say the least. So again, if you could, my bet would be to just maybe hang out at the house for a little bit. If you can wait just a little bit longer to get to work, I would probably do it because that's what you're going to be driving in on. It's just not a good look for you. You can't see your hand right in front of your steering wheel this morning. New severe thunderstorm warning coming out. This one's from Mississippi County as well as Dyer County and Lauderdale County. So this is another storm just off to our north and west. It's this little storm down here that is going to be along I-55, moving northward along 55. We don't have that box up yet, but give me just a second. That box will pop up for you. But it's a new severe thunderstorm warning for this little guy right here. That's just to the north of Turl, coming into Golden Lake, up toward Osceola, and eventually toward Blytheville. That thing is producing wind gusts as high as 60 miles an hour and hail just under the size of a quarter. So I know we're dealing with this severe thunderstorm warning in Shelby County and Tipton County, but I do want to give you a heads up. If you're in Mississippi County, Arkansas, if you're in Dyer County, Tennessee, it's that storm that's also going to be packing quite a punch this morning. And just to put a storm track on that really quickly before we get back to our main storm of interest. So again, this is a new severe thunderstorm warning. It's going to be for Mississippi County, Arkansas, parts of Lauderdale County, and parts of Dyer County. It's going to be near Golden Lake at 8:25, Osceola at 8:33, Blytheville at 8:47, and then eventually toward Carruthersville in the Missouri Boot Heel by 9:11 a.m. And again, that storm producing winds up to 60 miles an hour. Just want to remind you, no tornado warnings right now. What we're watching are severe thunderstorm warnings that are being issued for the threat of high winds. So no tornadoes right now, but wind can be just as destructive as those tornadoes. And that's why I'm with you this morning. We've already seen dozens of power outages. I think last report we had about 3,000 folks in the city of Memphis on the MLGW grid without power, mainly areas in Fraser, out toward Bartlett and Cordova. So the Northgate Shopping Center without power this morning. Germantown and Macon Road, they don't have power this morning, and Germantown and Walnut Grove. So if you're trying to go up and down Germantown Parkway, you're going to have a lot of lights that are out. Remember, you've got to treat those as a four-way stop. So that was the new severe thunderstorm warning. It's not showing up on the map just yet, but again, that's for that little guy right there. And I just want to check on the winds inside of that really quickly if we could, and just kind of get an idea of what's going on in here, because the winds are strong. And I'll tell you what's interesting to me is we've got this little kind of kink right here. That's something I don't like to see. It's something I'm going to watch really carefully. The tornado threat today is low, but it's something I can't completely rule out. That's what I told you earlier this morning. I didn't think we were going to have a huge tornado concern today, but it's something we can't rule out. And when you see a storm with that little kink like that, that's almost where the winds are trying to spin just a little bit. So again, no tornado warnings right now. I don't want to alarm you too much, but if you're in Osceola, pay really close attention to the weather for the next 30 to 45 minutes, because if that storm strengthens anymore, it could try to misbehave a little bit. We're going to watch it for you, but for right now, no tornado warnings in effect. All of these storms really just producing the damaging wind gust as well as the heavy rain. Some new information coming in here. Power outages updated from Yvonne Cooper out in the newsroom. Now almost 10,000 customers without power. 10,000 customers just about without power. It includes areas in Bartlett, Cordova, and North Memphis, as we just told you, and the Northgate Shopping Center, as well as really up and down Germantown Parkway. We've had some issues with power this morning. All right, so the worst of this storm leaving Shelby County. There's Millington, where Veterans Parkway is. Arlington, still kind of in the heat of it, but in the next little bit, that's going to be moving out of Shelby County. It's becoming more of an issue for Tipton County, the very high wind and the heavy rain. Atoka, you're getting it right now, up toward Mason. That's where the winds are just about to pick up. And I want to kind of poke around a little bit in here. We're still seeing winds near Mason, coming up Highway 70 at about 50, 60 miles an hour. So that's going to be enough to take out power, and we've already seen that in Memphis. So really, if you're in Atoka, Covington, Mason, out toward, let's see, that would be like Brownsville area, Christmasville Road. These winds are picking up, and literally as we get an update, you saw that radar update come in, they keep getting stronger. Let's zoom in here just a little bit. This is out near Mason. Get some roads here near the Gainesville community. So Beaver Creek Road, Kelly Corner Road, Charleston Mason Road. These winds are really, really bad out here. This is kind of the worst we've seen all day. The highest winds as high as about 70 miles an hour near Gainesville in Tipton County. And again, there's Mason and Braden. So if you live right there along Highway 70, I mean, even up towards Stanton, these winds are picking up fast. And again, I know it's not a tornado warning, but you get a 70-mile-an-hour gust and you can still have some damage that can easily come out of that storm. A new report from a storm spotter just coming in. This is going to be a report of 45-mile-an-hour wind gust near Atoka. Fortunately, they're kind of being spared the worst of the wind, but again, just to the east of there toward Mason, that's where the winds seem to be really bad, and that's going to be an issue up toward Brownsville. Now, Memphis is still seeing some heavy rain. Don't let it fool you. It's still coming down at a good clip. Germantown Parkway, Cordova, Lakeland, Arlington, even in South Memphis down near Westwood and the airport area, the rain is still really bad, but the winds have died down a little bit. So we're still dealing with heavy rain in the Memphis metro, but the winds, they've moved off to the north a bit, and it's more of an issue for Tipton County and now Fayette County and up toward Haywood County. Putting another storm track on this, again, this is moving off to the north and east. All of these storms are kind of moving off to the north and east at a good little clip, 65 miles an hour or so. So right now I'm tracking the heavy rain and the strongest wind gust. Bolivar by about 8:31, 8:34 into Covington, Brownsville about 8:44, Ripley, Tennessee at 8:48, Jackson, Tennessee at 8:58, Humboldt at 9:05, and then eventually up toward Dyersburg by about 9:11. So this batch of storms is still going to be moving off to the north and east, and it's still going to be posing an issue of the wind and the rain that we have been seeing here for a bit. If we could take this I-55 and Brooks, this is an area where the winds have died down just a little bit, but you can still see that the heavy rain and the wind is still an issue for us this morning, and it's really causing a concern there. Even though the winds have died down just a little bit, it's still coming down there at a good clip, and it's still affecting that morning commute. Let's go over to the MLGW outage map. I see we have that up this morning, and you can see really it seems like a lot of the outages are going to be out near Bartlett and the Cordova area. You see those red squares popping up. That's where we have the highest wind gust, and that's where the power outages are the highest as well. So zooming in there, probably the Wolf Chase Galleria area. Our TV station is under a red square. I've already told you we're on generator power this morning because we don't have any electricity. We're at I-40 and Sycamore View in the Shelby Oaks Business Park, and we have lost power this morning. Thankfully, we do have that generator. Shelby Farms area, no power, and some issues out there at I-40 and Appling out near Bellevue Baptist with some power outages as well. New information coming in. Stephen Reels actually now reporting about 18,000 customers without power. And again, that number is going to continue to climb as folks realize they don't have power and they call in and report that outage. We're going to see that number continue to increase just a little bit. So again, power outage is a concern, wet roads a concern. This is 55 in Brooks. The worst of it has passed that area, but we're still seeing the rain and we're still seeing the wind this morning. This is, I believe, 240 in Walnut Grove. You can see how bad that traffic is. Even though the rain is starting to let up a little bit, we still have some pretty serious issues with some traffic out there this morning. I'm trying to see, so we have a new severe thunderstorm warning. You'll excuse me for being on my phone for just a minute. We have a new severe thunderstorm thunderstorm warning for parts of Mississippi County in Arkansas. That's going to be for this little storm out here. So they've issued a severe thunderstorm warning for parts of Mississippi County, Lauderdale County, and Dyer County. But I'm not seeing it on the map. So I'm trying to make sure we don't have any data issues with our radar. I want to make sure we're getting the most up-to-date information. But there is a severe thunderstorm warning that is going to be in effect for that little storm there, not too far from Osceola, coming up 55. And it's going to be the same thing with the wind gust as high as 50 miles an hour coming into Blytheville and Dyersburg. So again, just to make sure we're not losing any data here, I'm going to check our other radar source and just kind of get an idea. Maybe it could be something with the Weather Service. They just didn't issue that warning in the correct way. They might need to update that. But we do for sure still have that severe thunderstorm warning for parts of Shelby County, Tipton County, Fayette County, as well as southern Haywood County coming in toward Brownsville with that line of storms moving to the north and east. Zooming in here just a little bit to the metro. The worst of the weather is out of Memphis. Now, it's still coming down. Got a really heavy downpour there on the west side of 240. That's near Lamar. You just saw it update. Now it's more like Hollywood, Binghamton, those areas really seeing the heaviest rain right now. That's clearing out, though. If you give me another 20 minutes or so, this is really going to be cleared out of the city of Memphis. It's going to be moved off to the north, and things will be in a lot better shape for Memphis. And there could be some more storms a little later on, but I think we'll even see some sunshine pop out as we go further into the day. As this system kind of moves off to the east, we're going to be watching. Again, though, I don't want you to let your guard down. In North Mississippi and West Tennessee especially, we still have a risk for some pretty strong thunderstorms. In fact, I'll show you our severe weather outlook for today. And what I told you this morning was we were going to see those storms develop near Memphis, and as they moved east, they were just going to get stronger. So really, western Tennessee, northern Mississippi, under the highest risk of severe storms today. And those areas haven't really seen too much in the way of storm activity yet. So as this batch of storms moves east, we'll see more storms develop, and those could strengthen as they continue to move east. So stay weather aware today through at least 3 or 4 p.m. because we can have more storms develop later on that kind of do the same thing, that heavy rain and the damaging wind threat. So I just want to kind of show you that just to give you an idea that even if this batch of storms wraps up, we are going to see more storms as we go further into the day. Again, I do want to remind you, if you have a power outage, you can download our app. Probably do it before your power goes out or you wouldn't hear me. Download the ABC 24 app. We have our live stream there. You can also watch us over on Facebook. And I usually have those comments pulled up. So if you're watching on Facebook, we're on Facebook? Okay, thank you, Gabe, our digital guy, making sure we're streaming everywhere this morning. We try to stream in as many places as possible to make sure you are covered. But what I'm going to try to do is pull up those Facebook comments. So maybe you're hunkering down in your house this morning. If you do have any reports or if you hear what's going on outside, let us know. I don't want you going outside to look at the storm, but if you're in your closet or whatever and you hear that the rain is coming down, feel free to let us know that. And if you have any questions, I'm going to try to get those comments pulled up here in just a little bit. If you want to put those down there, we can give you that update. But again, just to reiterate, I do not want you outside looking at the storm trying to get a report from me. We have enough people around here that can do that. Still have that severe thunderstorm warning. That's going to be for a good chunk of the northern part of the Memphis metro. This includes Fayette, Haywood, Shelby, and Tipton, including the city of Covington and Millington, until 9 a.m. And the reason this is in effect is the wind gusts. Thank you. Y'all are on top of it. Any comments just yet? North Mississippi, I think I hit that about 30 minutes ago. Power out. Thank you, Candace. Princess says power out in Olive Branch. And some more issues with power. So power is going to be the big concern with these strong winds. So thank you for those Facebook comments. I do appreciate that. And again, we're going to stay with you right here on Facebook and on the mobile app. So if you want to get there in case your power does go out, we're going to stay with you. All right, something interesting that we have been talking about. If you've been with us for a minute, we were talking about some really high wind in Tipton County. And I told you about 15 minutes ago near Mason, Tennessee, we had that high area of wind. The Weather Service now also taking a look at it. And I told you just a little bit ago, we had wind gusts as high as 70 miles an hour. That's still the indication. That's near Hunts Pond Road. That's going up towards Stanton on Highway 70. So we're kind of right there at the county line between Tipton and Haywood County, north of Mason. There's a really strong signature of wind there. So Caitlin, who's a fantastic meteorologist over at the National Weather Service in Memphis, they're always giving us some information, kind of the science aspect of the storms. They're saying this could be a small microburst. And what that is kind of, the storm is really tall and it's full of wind energy. Well, at some point, the storm is going to start to weaken. Well, that wind energy way up in the clouds, it has to go somewhere. So that storm cloud kind of just empties itself out. It pours itself out. All the wind and the rain combined in the storm cloud comes out at once. And we can get a really strong gust of wind as that downburst happens. So that could be what's happening there. And it usually happens over a small area. But that small area can see damage almost just like a tornado. If that's what's happening, if we have a microburst in here, we could see wind damage almost as if a tornado came through. So I really want you to be cautious there if you're up in Haywood County, because this area is kind of coming toward you. And what I'm going to do, I know the whole storm is moving off. I'm going to track just that area of strong wind and get an idea of maybe where that is headed, because everybody's going to see the rain today. But I want to give you an idea of when the strongest wind is going to be in your neighborhood. So what we're tracking now is the wind gust of 60 to 70 miles an hour near Brownsville at 8:52. So that batch of very strong wind near Brownsville at 8:52. Johnson's Grove at 9:03, Alamo at 9:08, Gadsden, Tennessee at 9:13, and then out toward Jackson by about 9:18. So that storm is going to move through Haywood County pretty quickly. But if you are in Haywood County, you have some very strong winds that are riding up Highway 70, and I would prepare for power outages if you are in Haywood County. So that's what we're going to watch for. Usually what happens is the storm kind of collapses, it lets out all its wind for a couple of minutes, and then things weaken after that. So hopefully soon we'll start to see this storm weaken a little bit. But for right now, a big concern with wind now coming into Haywood County. I do want to touch on North Mississippi because I know we had some rough weather in DeSoto County about an hour ago. South Haven and Olive Branch saw some really bad wind and rain and even some power outages there. A lot of that is cleared out. We're still seeing some light rain in North Mississippi, but if you are in North Mississippi, we don't have any more warnings in effect, just some rain, and a lot of that wind has died down. So I know it's still coming down pretty good if you're out near Byhalia, north of Holly Springs. It's still raining pretty heavy out there, but the wind has calmed down a lot, and we don't have a severe weather concern right now in North Mississippi. But again, as we continue to go into the rest of the morning, closer to lunchtime, we could see more thunderstorms develop in North Mississippi. So I want you to keep an eye on the weather through this afternoon in North Mississippi because more storms could easily develop in parts of North Mississippi. It's going to be the same for western Tennessee. I know we have this cluster of storms, but that's going to miss places like Selmer, Adamsville, Bolivar, really going to miss most of it. And you could have some more thunderstorms to contend with a little later on. So even if things are calming down in your neighborhood, just keep an eye on things through the rest of the afternoon. Again, the ABC 24 app is a fantastic way to do that. So again, still some heavy rain in the city of Memphis. A lot of that now is over in Fayette County, though. Somerville, Oakland, right there along 64. Between 64 and 40 seems like that's where the heaviest rain and wind are. Also, some pretty strong wind now coming into Haywood County. Fortunately, it seems like it's passed up Atoka and Covington for the most part. Atoka now just seeing some light rain. Covington is kind of right in the middle of it, but in a couple of minutes, it should start to wind down for you as this whole thing moves off to the north and east. Just putting a track on this to show you how it's progressed. I mean, that thing ripped through the Memphis metro. We had winds as fast as this storm was moving. It was moving at about 70 miles an hour. So think about how fast you could move from Forest City to, out toward Brownsville and Interstate 40, moving at 70 miles an hour. That's how fast this storm was moving. And fortunately, that means it's going to move out pretty quickly. It's still going to be an issue for Brownsville now, getting in on kind of the worst of the rain and wind. Mason, Tennessee, seeing the same thing. But that's going to be moving out and clearing out toward Crockett County. Alamo, you still got to deal with it. And then out toward Jackson here in the next little bit. An update on your power outages. We knew this was going to be a concern, and it definitely is. Power outage numbers now, nearly 30,000 people are without power this morning. That is going to be about 259 separate outages. Now, keep in mind, when MLGW says someone is without power, that's a customer. So if you live in a home with 6 people, that's going to count as one outage. So we probably have a lot more people dealing with outages this morning, but about 30,000 MLGW customers, people that pay the bill, are without power. And of course, that's going to affect everybody else at the house that's dealing with that power outage as well. Had a little heavy rain just come through the Shelby Oaks Park out at I-40 and Sycamore View where we are. Again, that's that one little sail kind of on the tail end of this storm. As it's pushing off to the north and east, it's going to clear out pretty soon. So it's coming up toward Arlington and Lakeland in the next little bit. That's kind of the last round of this for the city of Memphis. Now, again, more storms are possible by the morning hours, but the heaviest of this storm, again, it's moving quick. It's now up near Brownsville, Covington, Ripley. You're going to be up next, eventually toward Humboldt and then toward Jackson, Tennessee. Just to start to put a storm track on this, because again, they're still saying there could be some concentrated areas of wind gusts as high as 60 or 70 miles an hour. And they're going to keep this severe thunderstorm warning in place until that wind gust completely exits the area. But strong wind just moments away from Brownsville, 846. So if you're in Brownsville, power outages possible for you. Same story in Ripley by about 852. Power outages could be an issue. It'll be near Jackson, Tennessee at 857, Alamo at 901, Humboldt at 907, Dyersburg by 914, Trenton and New Bern a little closer to 920. So this storm is moving pretty quickly. Again, it's winding down out of Shelby County now. But if you are in these areas, be aware you're going to have some heavy rain and some potentially damaging wind gusts around that time frame as this thing continues to move off to the north and east. I do want to remind you there is a threat of some more storms a little later on today. If you live in North Mississippi and West Tennessee especially, by around lunchtime, we're going to be looking for more thunderstorms to develop, and more of those could actually turn severe. So we're going to be watching onto that very carefully. Again, I do want to just kind of keep an eye out for updates. Let's see there. All right, let's see what the Weather Service is talking about. And again, we have a chat with the National Weather Service, which is really helpful to get an idea of what they are thinking. Possible rotation now near the Nutbush community. And that's not going to be the Nutbush in Memphis. That is going to be the one a little bit further off to the north. Let's see if we can find this now. Looks like that might be it. Yeah, so there it is. So we got a little area of rotation here. Nunn Road, not too far from Henning, just to the east of there, of course, you got Nutbush and Fort Deer. That's an area that could be trying to spin up a quick tornado. Again, I told you the tornado threat was low today, but it is something we cannot completely rule out. I'm going to switch back to the shear mode, which shows us the rotation, and this will take just a second to load. But what it's going to show you is that little area of rotation not far from Nutbush, Tennessee. Again, this is not the Nutbush in Memphis. I know we have a little neighborhood in Memphis called Nutbush. This is the Nutbush further to the north in Lauderdale County, closer to Ripley and Henning, Tennessee. So I want to go back to the mode I was just looking at here. And what this is showing is the winds within the storm. I've already told you the brighter the color, the stronger the wind. But when you see the greens and the reds together, that's something that's a little bit more concerning, because what's actually happening here is we're having winds on the green side. They're moving off this way. Reds are moving the other way. So what happens is when we have the greens and reds together, we get a little area of some possible rotation in there, and that can kind of be the precursor to a quick tornado touching down. So if you're in Nutbush, Tennessee, I want you to really keep an eye on this for the next little bit, because even though this is not strong enough to issue a tornado warning right now, it's something worth watching, and it's right on the back side of that storm, just to the south of Ripley. That little area right there is a concerning signature where we might have a signature of a tornado trying to develop. Now, right now, there's no tornado warning that is in effect, but it's still an area that we do want to watch very carefully as that moves off to the north and east. So just tracking that out for you, the possible area of rotation, as we put a storm track on that, that would be near Nutbush at 8:49. So within a matter of minutes, that little area of rotation near you. Alamo at 9:07. Humboldt at 9:20, Milan, Tennessee by 9:31, Bradford by 9:35. So if you're in the Nutbush area, Haywood County, Crockett County, that's a little area we're going to watch. Again, right now we don't have a tornado warning that is in effect, but it's an area that was significant enough that the Weather Service definitely wanted to keep an eye on it. It's something that we are also going to be keeping an eye on as well. All right, I'm still having some issue here with my alerts coming in, and I'm not sure exactly what's going on. We have a new severe thunderstorm warning that's been issued upstream of this. That would be for Crockett, Gibson, Haywood, and Lauderdale counties. But my new warnings are not showing up. We've had some issues this morning. There have been some data issues nationwide with the weather service providers. The radars have been down, and we've had some other issues. So I'm not entirely sure if this is a me issue or if it's an everybody issue, but I'm still going to keep an eye on those warnings. We have them coming in. I know about the warnings, and they're scrolling at the bottom of your screen. I'm just not seeing them populating in my radar product right now. But there is a new severe thunderstorm warning for 60-mile-an-hour winds. That's going to include Crockett County, Gibson County, Lauderdale County, and Haywood County until 9:30. And again, that is for the wind gusts as high as 60 miles an hour. What they're going to do now is cancel the severe thunderstorm warning. That's going to be for Shelby County, Fayette County, Tipton County, and Haywood County. And they're going to let that new warning continue. So they've issued that new warning. I know it's not showing up on the map. I'm going to see if maybe it's showing up on this other computer here. And maybe we can swap over to that. I'm not entirely sure why it is not working for me. It doesn't look like it's working on any of my computers. So again, not entirely sure. It's a technology, you know what it is, but I am seeing the warnings. They're just not popping up on my map. So this severe thunderstorm warning that you see still on the screen, that has just been canceled. So as of right now, Shelby County is not in a severe thunderstorm warning. They've let that severe thunderstorm warning go. That one has been expired. So in just a moment, we're going to be able to send you back to regular programming. I am going to stay with this just for a little bit longer because we did have that possible area of rotation out near Nutbush. It's a very weak signature, but you can definitely see the green and the red kind of together there near Nunn Road, crossing over Tennessee 19 near Nutbush. Again, it's not strong enough that they've issued a tornado warning. I just don't want to go off air and then have to come right back on because they do issue it. So even though Shelby County is clear, I'm going to stay with this just for a little bit longer. I'm also going to try to get some information on my warning feed to see if maybe that is an issue here. I'm not sure exactly what's going on. Danielle Moss noticing it too. So here's a new tornado warning. I'm glad we stayed on this. We've got a tornado warning now coming out for this area here near Nutbush. This is for Haywood and Lauderdale counties. They're going to be issuing this tornado warning right now to the west of Nutbush. So again, this is now a tornado warning that is going to include Haywood and Lauderdale County in Tennessee. They're still working on drawing up that bulletin here, but hopefully we can get that to you soon. With that new tornado warning that's going to probably include northern Haywood County, western Lauderdale County, and Crockett County. And again, you're not going to see it on the map. I'm not sure exactly what the issue is with our radar system not showing us the warnings, but there is a tornado warning that is about to be issued. So while we wait on that official bulletin, I do want to go through your tornado safety tips. So this warning that's about to be issued again for portions of Haywood and Lauderdale counties. If you're in those areas, you want to go to your basement or your smallest center room and stay away from windows. Now, I know a lot of folks don't have a basement, but just the smallest center room you have, if you have a bathroom or a closet, that's where you need to go. Stay away from windows and cover yourself. We don't have any high rises out in Lauderdale County. So here's the official tornado warning. This just came in from the National Weather Service. While I read this, I'm going to keep this up for you. This is a tornado warning for Crockett County, Gibson County, Lauderdale County, and Haywood County until 9:30. At 9:50, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located over Nutbush, or 7 miles east of Ripley, moving to the northeast at 40 miles an hour. So again, that is a new tornado warning that just came out moments ago for an area of rotation and a possible tornado up near the Nutbush area. So I want to zoom into that and give you an idea of what that looks like. If we can switch over to the shear mode, and again, this will take just a second to load, but near that Nutbush community, right on the line of Lauderdale County and Haywood County, that is where we have a tornado warning that has been issued. And again, some possible rotation showing up there. We can see it a little better if we go to this mode here, and we'll zoom in just a little bit. This is off to the north and east of Brownsville. But you see where those greens and reds are kind of coming together. That is an area of rotation. No sign that this is a tornado on the ground right now, but it's spinning enough that a tornado could easily touch down in the next little bit. So again, if you're just now joining us, I know we have some phones that are going off up in this area. We have a tornado warning now that has been issued for Crockett County, Gibson County, Lauderdale County, and Haywood County until 9:30. So that is a new tornado warning that is in effect due to an area of possible rotation near the Nutbush community. And again, that's not the Nutbush in the city of Memphis. That's the one out near Ripley in Lauderdale County. Putting a storm track on that, again, this is a possible tornado. No indication that this thing is on the ground right now, but a possible tornado passing pretty close to Nutbush right now. Alamo, Tennessee at 9:10. Humboldt at 9:23, Trenton at 9:26, Martin at 9:49, and then McKenzie, Tennessee by about 9:54. So we're going to pause here for just a second, and we're going to join our audience over on CW30 on WLMT since we do have a new tornado warning that is in effect. Let me know whenever we're ready to do that, and we will rejoin them. But again, if you're just joining us, we do have that tornado warning that has now been issued for, let's see there. This is going to be Crockett County, Gibson County, Lauderdale County, and Haywood County in western Tennessee until 9:30. And there's the path of it, that possible tornado near Nutbush right now, Alamo at 9:10, Humboldt at 9:23. All right, for our viewers over on CW30, I'm meteorologist Trevor Burchett. We are interrupting your programming over on Channel 30 because we have a tornado warning that has now been issued for parts of the Mid-South. This is going to go for Crockett County, Gibson County, Lauderdale County, and Haywood County until 9:30. This does not include the city of Memphis. As a matter of fact, just to zoom out and show you that we do not have any issues in the city of Memphis. Things are really clearing up here in Memphis and DeSoto County. No issues in North Mississippi right now. We still have some storms up near Haywood County, Brownsville, Fayette County. But for right now, we do have a tornado warning due to a possible area of rotation near the Nutbush community. Yeah, they are telling me we do have some issues with the processing of those warnings. So what I'm going to do here, we're going to get a little untechnical, and I'm going to check my phone, and I'm going to draw out where this tornado warning is. Our data provider that provides us with this weather data is having some issues plotting the warnings on the map. The warnings are going out. I know you've got it on your phone, and I know it's scrolling at the bottom of your screen. They're just having some issues actually getting it to populate on the screen. So I'm going to try to draw that out here as soon as my cell service will catch up. Got some issues with that in the building as well. But again, what we're following there is that possible area of rotation near Nutbush moving to the northeast. Let's put another storm track on that. First, I do want to check this out and just get an idea of where this thing is. Now, I will say it doesn't look quite as impressive as it did just a moment ago. If I can actually go back a couple of frames here, I'm going to go back in time to about right there, 8:46 a.m. A really clear signature of some possible rotation near Nutbush. And that was coming into town. And you see those brighter colors showing up on the wind mode. That's where there's some rotation. When you see those greens and reds right together, that's where we have rotation. And that was why they issued that tornado warning. Now, if we skip this forward in time, we kind of lose those brighter colors. You see the greens are not as bright anymore. So I'm not as concerned as I was maybe 10 minutes ago with this tornado warning. Now, they've issued the warning just to be on the safe side. But we are watching very carefully because these storms can still spin back up, and the winds, they are pretty strong as well. So Maury City, Humboldt, Trenton area, that is all moving to the north and east, and some very, very heavy rain and gusty wind, regardless of if there is a tornado or not. We still have some issues in there with the wind and the heavy rain. And again, that possible tornado near Nutbush moving to the north and east. So Maury City, if this thing decides to try to touch back down, again, right now I'm not as concerned about it, but if this thing tries to touch back down, Maury City, 412 down toward Jackson and Bells, that's right behind me, that is where it would be going. Again, though, I'm not as concerned as I was maybe 10 minutes ago. They did issue that tornado warning due to a possible signature of rotation near Nutbush up in Lauderdale County. But it seems like that has weakened just a little bit. It's not as impressive to me as it was. Now, the wind, regardless of if there is a tornado or not, the wind is still a serious issue. And now I've just switched on the wind mode. And again, this is what I taught you a little bit ago. The brighter the colors in here, the stronger the wind. So when we go out toward Brownsville on Highway 70, even toward Crockett County, coming into Alamo in the next little bit, wind gusts in here as high as 65 or 70 miles an hour. We're even seeing some pretty high wind back up in Lauderdale County. And you see up near Ripley, just north of there, about 60-mile-an-hour winds. So I know we have a tornado warning. It does not appear that a tornado is on the ground right now. The winds are still very rough, and it's something serious that I want you to pay attention to. Maybe just go ahead and go to your safe place regardless. If you're in that tornado warning, you should do that anyway. And we've got Haywood spelled wrong down here. If we could just lose that lower third, please. That's Haywood County that's under that tornado warning. 60-mile-an-hour winds just north of Ripley, 66 miles an hour near Alamo. And again, just north of Brownsville, that's where the winds seem to be the strongest. Now, again, obviously the reason we're with you is because we still have that tornado warning. And again, let me read off the counties for I'm kind of struggling a bit this morning. Our radar provider is having issues plotting the red box. Normally they'd be able to show you that red box where the tornado warning is. I cannot do that right now, but I can tell you the areas that are included. This is going to be for Crockett County, Gibson County, Lauderdale County, and Haywood County until 9:30. That's that tornado warning that's in effect. At 8:50, which was, again, about 10 minutes ago, the National Weather Service detected a severe thunderstorm that was capable of producing a tornado near Nutbush, 7 miles east of Ripley, moving to the northeast at about 40 miles an hour. I do want to check back in on that rotational signature. And again, it's just not as impressive as it was to me. And I don't want to get too technical with you this morning, but a couple of scans ago, we had a good signature of some rotation near Nutbush where it looked like a tornado could be about to form. I'm not seeing that as much anymore. Things have kind of calmed down with that rotational signature. Now, they're going to keep the tornado warning in place because these storms can fire back up on a dime, and especially on a day like today when all the ingredients are in place, we could easily have that rotation quickly spin back up and turn back into an area of rotation. So we're going to keep an eye on that. But for right now, it seems to me that the strongest issue is with the wind. Out near Brownsville right now, you're seeing those blues right there along 70A, north and east of Brownsville, headed up toward Bells. Those are areas we're seeing winds over 70 miles an hour. And that could easily get down to the surface. Obviously, the radar measuring a little higher in the sky. But once that gets down to the ground, you could see winds near Brownsville, just north of there, coming up to Bells, as high as 65 miles an hour. And again, power outage is a big concern out there along 70A, just to the north and east of Brownsville, up toward Bells, and eventually toward Jackson. Let's do a reset for you this morning. I'm sure we have a lot of people asking, what about this place? What about this place? Sometimes it's easier to just zoom out and kind of start all over. I'm going to start out with eastern Arkansas. Right now, eastern Arkansas, you're clear. And to be honest, for the rest of the day, I'm not going to be that concerned about eastern Arkansas. Things have cleared out from you. And really, the bigger concern is going to be western Tennessee and northern Mississippi. So eastern Arkansas, you might have some more showers through the day. But I bet you by about 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock, you're going to have some sunshine. So the rest of your day looks pretty nice. North Mississippi is pretty quiet as well. There's not a ton going on. We have some storms just south of Clarksdale and some light rain through North Mississippi. But for right now, there's nothing of any concern anywhere in North Mississippi. Really, what we're still watching is up in western Tennessee. We do still have issues with this batch of thunderstorms now. I will tell you, it's cleared out of Memphis. So if you're in Memphis and Shelby County, this is past you. Well, again, we could have some more storms develop a little later this morning, but this batch of storms is pretty much out of the woods for Memphis. We're looking to be in a lot better shape. Traffic is still a nightmare in Memphis, but things are looking a little better out there now. Heavy rain and thunderstorms through Fayette County. That's where we're seeing some wind gusts and some heavy rain. But again, we still have this one little cell that's trying to cause some trouble, and that's where we have a tornado warning that has been issued for parts of the Mid-South. I want to remind you of those counties. This is going to be for Crockett, Haywood, and Gibson. They have just canceled the tornado warning for Lauderdale County. So we can update this. The tornado warning is being canceled for Lauderdale County. It's still going to be in effect for Crockett, Gibson, and Haywood until 9:30, and we're going to stay with you until that warning is canceled. If you are just joining us this morning, maybe you're expecting live with Kelly and Mark, we are going to be on the air for a moment. We're on WATN TV and WLMT TV, both of our channels, 24 and 30 this morning. I'm meteorologist Trevor Burchett. We're on with you because we have a tornado warning, as you see, for Crockett, Haywood, and Gibson County until 9:30. Again, I remain really not impressed with these thunderstorms, with the rotation in the storms at least, and that's a good thing for you. A few moments ago, maybe about 10 or 15 minutes ago, we were really watching an area back near Nutbush where it looked like, man, any minute a tornado could try to spin up. Right now, it doesn't look as impressive to me. I know this kind of looks like spilled paint on your screen, but we're looking at the storm winds. The brighter the colors, the stronger the wind. So we had that bright green a moment ago where we were trying to see those tornado winds spin up. We're not seeing that anymore. We're seeing very dull colors, and that's winds that are just not too strong, at least winds that are not spinning. So I think we're looking to be in better shape. But the reason that the Weather Service is going to stay with this tornado warning, at least for a little bit longer, is because we're in an environment today. If you've been outside, you know it's so warm, it's so humid, and it's so windy that these tornadoes can be a little sneaky. They can try to spin back up. So even though we're not overly concerned about a tornado at this moment, it's still something we're going to continue to watch here for the next little bit. Regardless, wind and rain going to be big issues. 50 to 60 mile an hour wind gusts from Fayette County coming into Hardeman County now, moving off to the north and east. Haywood County, Crockett County as well. Those wind gusts picking up as high as 50 to 60 miles an hour as these storms continue to truck east. I do want to remind you, as we're kind of babysitting this tornado warning with the potential for this thing to spin back up, I want to remind you we still do have the potential for more storms to develop. Now, as far as Memphis goes, we've seen our storm already. I think a lot of that is wrapping up. But as we move off to the rest of the afternoon, and especially closer to lunchtime, those winds could pick back up and we could have more storms develop in western Tennessee and northern Mississippi, especially in that orange area that you see. So if you live out near Bolivar, Selmer, Corinth, Ripley, Mississippi, Holly Springs, and Oxford, those areas that haven't seen storms yet, as we go further toward lunchtime, we could see some more storms pop up. So don't let your guard down. I think eastern Arkansas and Memphis, we're probably done with the storms for the day. But for those areas that haven't seen storms yet, out in western Tennessee and northern Mississippi, those are areas where, storms could easily pick back up. Switching back to the radar, and you can see the biggest cluster of those storms now in western Tennessee, from Dyersburg down to Crockett County, Fayette County, Hardeman County. That batch of thunderstorms really means some business. And I'm going to put a storm track on all of these as they are moving off to the north and east. Wind and rain, the concern for the most part with these. That's going to be near Humboldt by 9:06. Milan, Tennessee at 9:14. We're seeing Henderson by about 9:26. Lexington at 9:36. Camden out toward the Tennessee River by about 9:49. A new severe thunderstorm warning just about to come out. And again, you're not going to see it on our radar. We're having some issues with that radar service this morning. So I know normally you'd see the little red box on the screen for the tornado warning. I know we're not seeing that right now, but there is still a tornado warning in effect. And we have a new severe thunderstorm warning that is coming out for the northern portion of Hardeman County. Now, this warning is going to be for the wind and maybe some small hail. The tornado concern is up to the north. This is an area where we're going to see some winds pick back up in the northern portion of Hardeman County. So going back to our wind mode and just kind of poking around a little bit in here, especially out near like Fayette Corners area, that's where we're seeing winds as high as 50 to 60 miles an hour. And again, that is a new severe thunderstorm warning that's just about to come out for the northern portion of Hardeman County as well. So if you live north of Bolivar, especially north of 64, just be aware you do have some pretty strong winds that are coming in. I don't want to forget about you, though, for those areas that are dealing with that tornado warning. That's going to be a little bit further to the north. That is an area that is a tornado warning for Crockett, Gibson, and Haywood counties. And that's going to go until, let's see, that's going to be until 9:30. Now, they might cancel this a little bit early just because really the signs of rotation are just not there as much. There's a potential for something to try to spin up here not far from Alamo. So I still want you in your tornado safe place if you're in Alamo in Crockett County. But it doesn't look as impressive as it did maybe a few minutes ago back near Nutbush. It looked like we were really trying to have some stuff spin up. And things are looking better now in the fact that it doesn't look as impressive like a tornado is just about to touch down. So that's good. But we still have winds that are having some pretty serious issues in there. From Alamo up toward Friendship along Highway 412. In fact, let's just kind of poke around just a little bit here and I can get you an idea of these winds. I mean, really, if you look out near Bells, coming into Jackson, if you're traveling up I-40 toward Jackson, these two areas where you see those brighter colors, that's where those winds are strongest. And that's where we could have a quick tornado spin up. Again, it doesn't look as impressive as it did maybe a couple of minutes ago, but it is still something that we are going to watch very, very carefully because these winds are really having an issue in here. I mean, look at these winds, 70+ mile an hour winds. Corey, do we have links up? Okay, so we're working on getting our other radar up so we can get those warnings to you. But I mean, easily you can see there, you don't need that red box to show how strong those winds are because we're easily seeing those gusts as high as 70 miles an hour in Crockett County. Just heard from Yvonne. This is from Yvonne Cooper out in the newsroom. She's spoken to the Crockett County EMA director who tells us the schools, the nursing homes and hospitals are sheltering in place right now. No reports of damage, but you can see just how serious these winds are coming out of Haywood County into Crockett County with those winds up to about 70 miles an hour. Again, the reason that we're with you still this morning is technically we do have a tornado warning in effect for these areas. There's this couple of small areas of rotation near Maury City coming over 412 toward Alamo and then eventually up toward 45 west near Fruitland. Now, none of these appear to have a tornado on the ground right now, but they are still in an environment that's very, very favorable for a quick tornado to spin up. So we are not letting our eye off of this area where we still have this warning in effect. If you're in Crockett County, just be in your tornado safe place. Give me 20 more minutes of you getting in your closet or your bathroom or your hallway. Hang out there for the next 20 minutes. It doesn't look like anything's happening right now, but I'd so much rather you be safe than sorry. And I know you'd rather that too for your family. So if you can give me 20 minutes, I just want to make sure that these little areas of rotation don't try to spin back up and produce a tornado again. Even though they're not looking that way right now, they could easily try to spin another one back up. And that's really near Alamo between Maury City and Humboldt, eventually up toward Trenton. This is starting to leave our viewing area, but I know some people can still hit us on the over-the-air signal out here. So I want to do one more storm track, just to kind of get this out of our area as it leaves Crockett County. That's going to be near Milan by about 9:14, McKenzie at 9:24, Huntington at 9:33, and eventually toward Camden and the Tennessee River by about 9:50. So that's just a heads up if you are traveling this morning up toward Nashville. Even though this storm is leaving our coverage area, it's still going to be an issue for areas out near Nashville as these storms move to the east. And really, like what we said all day, these storms are going to get stronger as they continue to move east. That's decent news for us that really they're going to wait to strengthen until they leave our area. But again, for right now, still following that tornado warning that is in effect for portions of Crockett County. That's going to go also for Haywood and Gibson counties until 9:30. We're going to wait and see if maybe these tornado warnings will be let go just a little bit early, but we're going to stay with you until we can 100% give you that all clear. I do want to give you just a quick reset this morning as we continue to watch some storms. I told you earlier, Hardeman County dealing with some pretty rough thunderstorms as well. Just to the north of Bolivar, we've had wind gusts there as high as 50 or 60 miles an hour. So even though we're not dealing with a tornado there in Fayette or Hardeman counties this morning, we are still having wind gusts that are very strong and can still cause damage and can still cause power outages. We've already had power outages in our metro this morning. In fact, nearly 30,000, actually now nearly 40,000 people are without power on MLGW due to those thunderstorms that rolled through an hour or two ago. Let's check out the outage map for you this morning and just kind of show you what's going on in Memphis with those power outages because it is pretty serious. And the wind has really caused some issues, and you can see all the red there. That's where we've seen those power outages. Berkeley, Nutbush, Fraser, and Raleigh. Let me not combine those two. Bartlett down towards Shelby Farms in Cordova. We do have reports that traffic lights down Germantown Parkway are also having some issues. So remember, if you do see a traffic light that's out, you do have to treat that as a four-way stop. I do want to give you some good news this morning as we go back to the radar. I'll tell you that Yvonne Cooper out in the newsroom has been making calls, checking in on people. She's spoken to the Haywood County EMA director, Jeremy Qualls, who tells us so far, so good. And that's good news because it seems like the worst of the storm is now out of Haywood County. It's going to be more of an issue for northern Hardeman County now and out toward Crockett County. So it seems like Haywood County has gotten through things relatively unscathed, which is good. No major reports of damage. Still some heavy rain and some gusty wind coming through Brownsville right now. But for right now, no reports of damage out of Haywood County, which is some good news. Checking back in on Hardeman County. Those are the areas that are still seeing some damaging wind gusts from just to the south of Brownsville in Haywood County down toward Bolivar. This batch of storms, not a tornado warning, but still seeing winds as high as 50 or 60 miles an hour, which can easily cause some damage. And we do have a severe thunderstorm warning in that area as well. That's for Henderson County, Hardeman County, Haywood County, Madison County, and Chester County until 9:45, with winds in that area in northern Hardeman County that are going to be as high as about 60 miles an hour. So if you're north of Bolivar on 64, that's where those winds could also be a little bit stronger. So again, right now, no damage reports coming in from Haywood or Crockett County. We checked in with those folks. We checked in with Stephen Sutton at the Crockett County EMA and with Jeremy Qualls at the Haywood County EMA. We want to say thank you to those folks working hard this morning, but they have no reports of damage, which is some good news. Now, it appears what they're going to do is issue an extended tornado warning. They're going to extend this tornado warning now possibly past 9:30. We'll see if it includes any of our counties. If it doesn't, we'll let you go, because what's happening now, this is transitioning to the Jackson, Tennessee television viewing market. So I do want to let you know, if we do sign off here soon, we're not forgetting about you out in Jackson and Gibson County. That's just part of the Jackson, Tennessee viewing area. So you can check in with your stations there as these storms exit. But Crockett County is our responsibility. They're like my child, I feel like, and we're going to stick with Crockett County until we can completely give you the all clear. What happened was, just to kind of recap, about 30 minutes ago now, we had a little area of rotation near Nutbush, Tennessee, not too far from Ripley, kind of between Ripley and Maury City. It looked like there was some spinning going on up in the atmosphere, enough to prompt a tornado warning to be issued. So that's why we stayed on with you, is because we have a tornado warning for the northern portion of Haywood County, as well as Crockett County and parts of Gibson County. Right now, it doesn't look as impressive as it did. Really, it doesn't look to me like we have any major signatures of rotation, but the National Weather Service being overly cautious, and they will extend this tornado warning. Now, this tornado warning that just got issued, this is for Henderson, Gibson, and Carroll County until 10 o'clock. Now, those counties do not belong to our coverage area. So shortly, what is going to happen, probably within the next 10 or 15 minutes, we are going to sign off from our continuous coverage on ABC 24. Again, that tornado warning, as it moves to the east, is going to exit our viewing area. So it's going to be more like Henderson County, which again, that's part of the Jackson, Tennessee television market. They've got some great folks down there. One of my good friends, Mo, works at the ABC affiliate in Jackson, Tennessee. He's there this morning. I'm sure he's all over it. So if you do find yourself out near Humboldt, out in Gibson County, check in with them, because we will be signing off here soon as this tornado warning technically exits our coverage area. It's going to get into the Jackson, Tennessee television market. But if you are watching over the air, I know we do have some folks out here that can get us on antenna. This is a new tornado warning that will be issued for Henderson, Gibson, and Carroll County until 10 o'clock. The tornado warning that was in effect for Crockett County will likely be allowed to expire very soon. So we'll keep an eye on this. Again, we're going to stay with you until the second that tornado warning clears. But as far as Crockett County goes, things look to be in better shape for you. So here's Alamo, Bells, even Humboldt. The worst of that storm is now passing you by. It's more of an issue up toward Trenton on 45 headed northbound. So Crockett County, give me an extra 5 or 6 minutes and I'll be able to clear you out of here. But for right now, I want to stay with you just for a little bit longer until they officially clear Crockett County. But it does seem to me the worst of any threat is now out of Crockett County. You're just really left with some plain old rain. As a matter of fact, they've just now canceled officially. The tornado warning is completely canceled for Crockett, Gibson, and Haywood County. So we can, get rid of that. That is canceled. Again, no tornado warnings currently in effect for the ABC 24 viewing area, which is great news. That means in just a matter of minutes, we're going to send you back to Live with Kelly and Mark on ABC 24. We'll send you back to regular programming on CW 30. So just get ready for that, folks back in the booth. But for right now, we don't have any tornado warnings that are in effect. That storm that was looking a little crazy a little bit ago, it has left our coverage area. It's now out in Gibson County, and the folks out in Jackson, Tennessee are watching that very carefully, but it has technically left our coverage area. Now, we still have some storms out there. Don't get me wrong. Northern Hardeman County really seeing the strongest of the storms in our area right now. Bolivar likely going to see wind gusts as high as 50 or 60 miles an hour as these storms move to the east. I want to put a track on these before we go, just to kind of keep you updated. And again, we're not going anywhere. We're going to sign off TV. I'm on the clock till noon. Meteorologist Corey Smith is already here. He's here till about 6 o'clock. So we're going to be here watching it. And if we need to hop back on, we will. But I do want to let you know we're just about to hop off here. Before we do, though, it looks like this storm that's producing wind gusts as high as 60 miles an hour is going to continue to move to the east. So Hardeman County, McNairy County, just a heads up for you. Those winds are going to stay pretty strong out there. Bethel Springs by 9:39, Adamsville at 9:50, and then towards Savannah by 10:01. So right now, no tornado warnings in effect, but I'm just warning you of the damaging wind threat. Northern Hardeman County and McNairy County as those storms move off to the east. Now, otherwise, things are pretty quiet. We do have some rain falling. For right now, it's just plain old rain. The storms moving out toward Bolivar, they'll continue to exit off. Now, we're going to watch carefully. Over the next few hours, there could be some more storms that redevelop, and those could be stronger too, especially in North Mississippi between Oxford and Corinth. I think you still have a potential for more strong storms. Fortunately, when you get as heavy rain as we did in Memphis, it kind of eats up all of the storm energy. So the heaviest rain might have helped us out a little bit. We might be done with the worst of the weather in Memphis, but just keep an eye on the radar through at least 3 o'clock today because more thunderstorms could develop in North Mississippi and western Tennessee. For now, we're going to sign off of ABC 24 and CW 30. We'll send you back to your regular programming. We're going to be back here for the news at 11 a.m. with a fresh update and a live look at the radar. And if anything crazy does pop up that I'm worried about, of course, I'll pop right back on TV and on our digital streams and on our ABC 24 app. But for right now, we're going to send you back to regular programming. Stay safe out there.